think it's loose. Yeah, it's loose. Something's loose. Who knows? My glasses. Hey, Kingdom people. Kingdom people, where y'all at? Only got a little bit of time. Only got a little bit of time. Wowzers. Jeepers creepers. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Kingdom people. Hey, Miss Shelly. How are you? Thanks for joining. I'm just trying to let a few more people get in at least. But I'm gonna have to start with who's ever here in a minute. Thank you. Apostle gifted these to me. Apostle Walanda. She be on here sometime, on live sometime. She's actually a moderator. She gifted me with these. She's ended up with a couple of pairs by mistake. So she asked me, did I want them? I'm like, yeah, I'll take them. So you know, I just be trying to do what I do. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, what was that? Move, whatever it was. Okay, Kingdom people. Y'all still Kingdom people. It's only a couple in here, but that's fine with me. Because I got to get this out. So, kingdom people, first of all, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Miss Shelly and whoever else is here. Unless you're a stalker. But even if you're a stalker, thank you for being here. And so, I'm speaking to you about how they want it to stick. And this is something that has been on me. God just been speaking to me about this, dealing with me about different situations. I've actually released some stuff. But it kind of moved me to talk about this today. And so, this is what it is, kingdom people. This is one of them subject matters that I just really try to avoid talking about, but sometimes I just have to. Because it's something that's real, it's something that's happening. Many people are dealing with this, whether they realize it or not. Not necessarily everybody, but many people. If you came to people, if you were one of God's chosen ones, you 9 times out of 10 it's happening to you. Or it has happened, not happening to you. Probably used to happen to you. Or you experience this. You're familiar with this or learning of this. So anyhow, they wanted to stick. They wanted to stick. What am I talking about? Sometimes, many a times, when people, those ones that the enemy uses, your enemies, allowing the enemy to use them is your enemy. They're an agent of Satan. They're Satan's child. They belong to Satan. Let me just make that clear. Their whole job is to, I'm hearing that your enemy, the devil, walks this earth like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So his job is to devour whoever he can. If it's up to him, he'll devour everybody. That's actually what he's trying to do. And that includes you, kingdom people, and especially you, because you are kingdom people. You're God's people. You're God's chosen one. You're set apart for his purpose, for his glory. And of course, the devil don't like that. So, the devil uses people to curse us, to try to curse us, to try to hinder us, to just be a cause a problem in our life so we won't prosper and be who God called us to be. Do what God called us to do. Go where God is telling us to go. Whatever the case may be. That's the enemy's job. And so that is the job of those that allow the enemy to use them. Because that's their job. And sometimes people don't know that it's happening, that the enemy is using them. But many people do know, and they allow him to. They with it. They took an oath with the devil, and they know they work for him. And that is who I'm talking about here. Now, what I'm speaking about in particular are those ones who are proactively on purpose trying to stop you from moving into the things of God. And by doing it, by trying to curse you, by doing it, by trying to do black magic on you, which is trying to curse you, put spells on you, all those things, witchcraft, any form of witchcraft. The thing is this, kingdom people, we already know when they do what they do, they want it to stick. That's the whole point. What's the point of doing it if you don't want it to work? Here's the thing, kingdom people. I went through a recent experience where someone that I became very aware of that was doing these things towards me, and it had been for quite a long time. Someone who was close to me at one point, kind of, we weren't real close, but close in kin, so to speak. And someone who's closer to me knew what was going on. They know what was going on. They was aware that it was happening. And I had some questions. I had to ask God, are they okay with this? And the reason why I asked is because they were continuing to interact with this person like nothing changed, nothing, like it was okay, like nothing happened. Now, let me say this first. My attitude wasn't that they shouldn't interact with this person. You know, I didn't feel like because of that, and because I had to move around this person, they should. I didn't feel like that. However, became a concern because that's evil. And I know me personally, if I'm aware of someone who's participating in something wicked like that, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. Furthermore, the person that I'm speaking of that was aware of this other person is closer to me than the other person. Our relationship was closer than that person. In fact, our relationship was one where I want to say a relationship where, because of who they are to me, they should have been protective over me and would not be okay with someone doing something like this towards me. But I had learned previously that that person wasn't that with me. So at the same time, I really didn't expect that. However, I didn't expect them to, not be okay. Not so much not be okay with it, but to not continue to deal with this person. Let me just say this. The person who does the things that they do it to everybody. They just happen to do it to me on a whole nother level because of who I am. They do this with everyone around them to keep them at bay. Because that's what the devil do. The devil's job is to keep everybody from prospering, from doing the will of God, from walking in the ways of God. That's the devil's job. So anybody that the enemy uses in that way, he does that. He don't want anybody moving in the things of God. And so, of course, this is a secret. This is not something that they openly do. They have double lives, pretty much. That's what I've come to learn. And they do it in the background. But going back to what I was saying, hey, descendant of David, thanks for joining. So going back to what I was saying, as I said, I didn't expect anything different because I had already learned from experience that they'll let it's okay whoever do to me. But again, I became concerned because I wanted to know they're okay with this, and I knew that they were because they were still going. But what happened was God recently got in my face and said to me that, and I had heard this, because, some time ago I had, when the question started, and I just wanted to know, are they okay with this? And I had even said something to the person one day. I kind of had a little moment where I kind of wasn't even trying to, but it just kind of happened where I just kind of blurted out, talking about what had been going on and asking, are you okay with this? And the person, and I said, I'm starting to wonder, are you okay with this? Is this okay with you? And the person didn't say anything. And then usually this person would answer a question if asked a question, but they didn't say nothing. And I thought that was interesting. And of course, later, God told me because there was nothing to say, because I said what it was. But they wasn't going to acknowledge it or deny it. They just sat there and didn't say nothing because I was saying what it was. So that was that. So going on, God finally said to me, and at this point, I'm not asking. I'm not having no questions. He just getting in my face concerning this particular person that continues with this person. And like I said, because of who they are to me, or they still are that to me, we just don't have a relationship anymore because of this, along with other things, but still surrounding this kind of thing, like I said, I stopped asking the questions, but God started dealing with me about, whatever, and got in my face concerning this person. And he pretty much told me that they wanted to stick. They may not be proactively doing anything like that other person is, but they're aware, but they wanted to stick. And God said, yes, they're okay with it. In other words, what the person who does all the stuff, and not that this person, because this person has their little stuff they do too, but not as deep as the other person. But still, nonetheless, point is, they wanted to stick. In other words, whatever spells and curses this person trying to do to hinder me, to keep me from moving the things of God, this person that's closer to me, that was closer to me, supposed to be closer to me, they were okay with it because they wanted it to stick. They wanted to affect me. They wanted me to not move forward in the things of God. And I knew that this was a person that was jealous of me. And I'm talking about a loved one, someone who I loved and still love. But of course, the nature of their relationship is different. The affection is not the same, because how can it be? You know, and God has put me in a place to separate myself completely from this person. He had already moved me last year to distance myself, but now he's telling me to separate from them. And that has a lot to do with it, because they're okay with it. They want what they want it to stick. They want me to be stopped. They're in agreement with it. And you know, part of it is weakness. But the thing is, even in your weakness, if you know that this is not good, this is not okay. If I have a weakness and I'm knowing something like this going on, I'm going to gain some strength. I'm going to go to God. I'm not going to be okay with it. Whatever happened, whatever I got to do, I'm not going to be okay with it. But again, we weak people just go with things, along with the fact that they want it to stick. And I just heard they want it to stick because they are weak. They want, people like this want strong people to be stopped, especially strong people that they're jealous of, strong people that's right there in front of them that they know they're familiar with, they're jealous of. They want it to stick. So I'm saying all that to say, kingdom people, God said this to me today. And I just have to, before I say that, I'm going to say this. Because, let me think. I just lost my thought, but it's something significant. I lost it. Anyway, this is what God gave me today, because he was speaking to me concerning this whole thing. And he said, he led me to John, 1 John, first chapter. And as I'm reading, you know, I come across verse, I want to say, is it verse 11? So this is where Apostle Paul was talking to, was it the church of Corinth? He was talking to people. You know how Apostle Paul did. You know, he was sharing how, you know, only receive the teachings of Jesus, and if anybody comes to you with anything outside of that, you have to reject them. They are the Antichrist. It's kind of like either you with Christ or you ain't. Either you is or you ain't, my baby, so to speak. But as I'm reading, I get to 2 John 1 and 11, and this is what jumped out at me. And God was saying to me right there, you know, he was speaking to me concerning this. And 2 John 1 and 11 says, anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. I'm going to read that again. Anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. So when you're welcoming to a person that you know operates in wicked ways and evil, witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever it is, it ain't even don't even necessarily have to be that. Any evil way, he says anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. So God said they are a partaker of the wickedness, and he said they are just as guilty as they are, because they're partaking in it. They're welcoming this person. And then he talked to me about how, you know, how we eat with people. We go out, we eat, we have a meal with people. It's what we do. And it's somewhere in scripture, but I didn't even get that one. I don't know where it's at, but I didn't even think to get it. He was talking to me about it after I had already had this, some time after. But he just brought to my attention how we're not even supposed to share a meal with wicked people, with evil people. We're not even supposed to eat with them. So I used to do it, but I used to do it when I didn't realize how wicked these people were. I just thought they had issues. I didn't realize they was wicked and evil like that until God revealed all this to me. Now this other person, as I said, the one that's closer to me, is a partaker of the evil. Now, from what, like I said, they have their own little stuff that they do too, but not as deep as far as I know. If it is so, God hasn't revealed all that to me. God has a tendency to reveal things to me at pieces at a time as he see fit, and as he, I guess, feel like I'm ready for it. You know, it's all how he choose to do it, but he tends to do that. Sometimes I can be aware of something but don't think it's that deep, just think they got issues. You know, hopefully that jealousy will pass. I used to think like that, but I learned, no, this jealousy go deeper. They involved in this what they do, that kind of thing. But as I said, this person out, as far as I know, they don't, I'm gonna put it like this, as far as I know, they are not participating in it in that manner as of these days, because at one point they kind of did. God recently made me aware of that. But again, because you know how sometimes you're doing something, you let it go, try to do things different, don't want to be a part of that no more, but then you still mingling with people who do, knowingly. Why? Because they wanted to stick. They are a partaker. Anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. So again, it might as well be them. I'm going to share a quick story. You know, in my younger adult life, I had a conversation with my mom. Not going to go into detail about what, but it was an issue. And, you know, it's all kind of past us now, but when I was younger, I was not properly handled. I wasn't properly handled, period, with her mate at the time. That's not the case anymore, but at the time. And so, of course, when I got older and I was a young adult, we talked about it. And I think we talked about it. And I think I said this part to her too. But my issue was always this. It was him. It wasn't even my mom necessarily. But she allowed it. And I'm just hearing she was a partaker. Anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. This is just all what I'm getting now. But then my attitude was, it was him, but it was you. Because you allowed it. I'm your child. I'm in your care. Now, I'm not tripping on that no more. We moved past that. But I'm making a point to say that's because, not even understanding it in this way then, that's because she was a partaker of what was happening. The what was going on, the lack of care for me, the me being mishandled by this person that was allowed by the person that should have been protecting me. Now I'm gonna move on from that because that ain't what I'm trying to go into in depth. I'm making a point. I'm making a point to say how if you're going along with something that somebody doing where it concerns another person that you're in relationship with, you just as guilty as them. You a partaker. Why are they a partaker? Because they wanted to stick. They want you to be affected. They're okay with the abuse. They're okay, and I said abuse. I just heard what I said. But when someone allows someone to abuse you or whatever inappropriate thing towards you, mistreat you, mishandle you, do black, know that they doing that, they are okay with it. They are partake of it. They welcome the evil works. They share in it because they want it too. They want what the person who's doing it too. They want what they want. They're just not the ones doing it. It's kind of, what is this saying, aiding and abetting, something like that. An enabler. They're an enabler. So they're a partaker. They know, they with it, they ain't stopping it, they ain't removing themselves, they ain't addressing it, they ain't saying, hey, wait a minute, hold on. They ain't doing none of that. And like I said, yes, it comes from a place of weakness, but nevertheless, they still a partaker. And they are a partaker because they wanted to stick. Hello, Mrs. Davis. Thanks for joining. For as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. Eat and drinks that he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. God was giving me that the other day. As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. Which gives credence to what I'm saying, kind of, because as I was saying before with this person, I ain't expect nothing. No, when you come to a point where you don't expect nothing no different, you get what you get. Because when you just know who a person is, as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. You can't get nothing but what they are. However, when you roll with stuff, when you roll with things like that, you are now a partaker. But again, it's their partaker, sometimes willingly, sometimes not willingly. Again, it's because of weakness, but you are a partaker nonetheless. But what's behind that is they want it to stick. Can you be in, and I'm not saying this necessarily happening to you per se, but I'm saying you can be mindful. You can be cool with somebody or a relationship with somebody, and it don't matter the nature of the relationship. Let me just tell you that. It does not matter. Nobody is exempt. Nobody is off limits. Anyone who allows the enemy in, allows the enemy to use them, allows the enemy to oppress them, allows others to oppress them, allows others to just keep them. Because my thing is this, I'm just going to say this real fast. Even though things were happening to me and there were things going on to keep me oppressed and to keep me that I didn't even know, just in, going through life, I just started learning these things over the last few years. Like God revealing more and more to me. Even though those things were happening, I wasn't one to succumb to oppression. I was one that was gone. I was insistent on being free without even knowing that was happening. Without knowing, so I'm saying that to say, for anyone, and I understand we live in a world where things is what it is. I get that, and it's not that simple and easy. But with God, all things are possible, and so I guess that's what I knew, and that's what kept me pressing again, without knowing that these things were set in place and in motion to keep me from being able to break free. But y'all know curse breakers, that's what they do. They break free. I just always thought it was stupid to even attempt a curse breaker, because you can't stop a curse breaker. God set them up a certain kind of way to break curses. So I just think that's stupid. But that's the enemy, how the enemy will use people, because the enemy know who to use. He know who he can use like that. People that are broken. And when I say people that are broken, that ain't no shade to nobody, because we all broken in some way, shape, or form. But many of us are gracefully broken, but we're broken by God for his purpose. But what I'm speaking of is broken from trauma, from things that they're experienced, from, they're unhealed. And so they, instead of healing and try to get the help they need with God, they rather go the devil's way. But anyway, don't want to get too much into that. Whole point is, kingdom people, there may be some people around in your life. I don't know. Listen, don't just take this word and make it stick. Don't make it stick, because it very well may not be you. But God told me to speak on this, and it's because it is for somebody. And you need to be mindful. You need to be aware. This is what you need to be mindful and aware of. If you're in relationship with someone who's in relationship with someone that you know that has done some wickedness towards you, or doing anything like that, it's because whatever they know that person is doing towards you, they're okay with that. They want that, which really means they're your enemy too. They're your enemy too. If they don't want the best for you, they want this harm to come upon you, they want you to be stopping, not prospering God, that's an enemy. Anybody that's trying to take you out of the path of God is an enemy. Anybody. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it may be because they have their hang-ups, they didn't do this. Shouts out to you, Miss Shelly. We were talking about this, and you brought up, how people do this when they didn't answer the call. People didn't answer the call. They didn't do what God asked them to do. They set their own life up and did whatever they did. And then here you is walking it out, answering the call. And then they ask, why you chosen? Why did God choose her? Because she answered the call. He answered the call. How God gonna choose somebody that don't answer the call? How that work? Anyway, kingdom people. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at the same time, I'm happy to bring clarity and truth because it'll set you free. Scripture say, know the truth and you will be free. Know it. If you know the truth, how you gonna go fall into a trap unless you want to? Unless you want to, which is the same thing as the partakers, the ones who are welcoming and sharing in their wicked work. That means you know, but you still in it. So you ain't free. And because they ain't free, kingdom people, and they ain't trying to get free, you need to go ahead and free yourself up from them, because it ain't nothing but bondage. And that's exactly what they want for you. They want you to be what they are. They want it to stick. These people don't want you to be free. People who are not free, people who are bound up, and let me add this, and are not trying to get free, because you could be bound and still need deliverance, but you're trying, you're working at it. That's different. But people who no, God has told you so. God is showing you. Maybe you wasn't sure before. Maybe God hadn't revealed it to you. Maybe it wasn't all clear yet. But once you know. And these people still like tipping and tapping with people that's, doing whatever evil and wicked they do. They your enemy. They want whatever the person doing this thing. They just keep trying to keep their hands clean. They don't want to get their hands dirty. That's all. It's like, look, get somebody else to do it. They know that a person is doing it. They okay with it. They just feel like they have an attitude like, well, it ain't me. In other words, they not getting their hands dirty. But really they are. Because scripture tells us in 2 John 1:11, anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. So they really are getting their hands dirty by being connected to them, by partaking, by being okay with it, by still engaging with them in a relational manner. And what I mean by that, how some people we have to deal with because of life, whatever circumstances, work, whatever. But this is the situations where you don't have to. Yeah, you might be familiar with them. This may be all you know. This what you did all your life. But is that a reason to share that evil? Unless you okay with that. But many people are okay with it, which is why you see them still connected to the people. And they know. I ain't talking about somebody that don't know, that ain't sure, that don't believe it. I'm talking about people that know. You know they know. They know they know. Y'all done probably talked about it. But they still okay with it. And kingdom people is because they want it to stick. They want what these people are trying to do to work on you. Because they don't want to see you make it either. They don't want to see you prosperous either. They don't want to. Why? Because they where they at. They didn't do it. And I think that is so twisted, but I had to learn to come to, it's just a weird thing to me, but I had to, like you said, Mrs. Davis, as a man thinking in his heart, well, scripture say that, but you pointed that out. As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. I used to couldn't understand for the life of me, if you chose make that choice, why are you tripping on me? Because I made a different choice. Well, that's the way these people are. That's the way they are. Because who is that? What spirit is that operating in him? Now, just think about it. As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. So, yeah, they don't want you to do it either. Because they missed the boat. They didn't do it. Which is not even logical, because you made the choice. They made a choice. And you making a choice. Everybody made a choice. And because you made the right choice, God was speaking to me about this. And this is a whole nother message, but I'm going to hit on it. God says you have chosen the right thing. You chose the good thing. And then he brought to me Martha and Mary. When was it Martha that was like, Jesus, I'm cooking and cleaning and doing all this, and Mary ain't doing nothing. Tell her to help me. And Jesus said he will not. He said Mary had chosen was it the good thing, the right thing, the good thing. She has chosen the good thing, the good portion, something like that. And that was Jesus. That's what you've done. You've chosen Jesus. You choose to walk this thing out with you. You choose to answer the call. They chose not to. They went in a different direction. You chose the good thing, and Jesus is saying it will not be taken from you. They trying to take it from you because you chose the right thing. They try to take it from you because they chose the wrong thing. They didn't choose God. They didn't choose Christ. And I just hear it don't matter if they go to church. You know how many people sitting up in the church that ain't choosing Christ? I mean, having a form of godliness and denying the power thereof. I ain't gonna get into that. I just want to stick to my point, and I gotta go. Kingdom people, listen. The reason why they still rocking with them people that are trying to curse you, mishandle you, listen. If I got a friend, I just talked to her, said this to my sis. You know who you are here. I don't want to be putting you on the spot too much because you know how I am. I'm just, keep people out of your business. But if you cool with we cool, it's me, you, and somebody else. And I'm speaking of women. Let's say women friends. It really don't matter, but let's use this as an example. And y'all could be cool as I don't know what. That's cool. I think that's cool. But if I know that this one is on one with this one, that person gonna either hear about it or no, I'ma let that person know now. Because I'm not finna let you do my peoples like that. That ain't happening. So I'm making that point to say, whether I tell that other person or not, because I can handle it on my own. But because I ain't cool, I'm not okay with that. So I'm saying all that to say it's the same thing. If somebody on one with you, and we're talking about evil here, we're talking about literally trying to destroy your destiny and your purpose and your walk with God, trying to take you out of here for whatever reason they got going on, that they issues is that they want to take you out and want to stop you. Listen, and you, my other people, homie, or whatever the case is okay with that. You know it, and you still want to kick it like it ain't nothing. We ain't cool like that then. Because you are a partaker of their evil. You are sharing in their evil. You're saying, you're putting a stamp of approval on what they're doing. You're saying it's okay for them to do that to you. I'm with it. I want it too. Anyway, Kingdom people, I'm going to wrap this up because I really do have to go. Kingdom people, I so appreciate you all being here with me. Amen, Miss Shelly. We have answered the call. Mrs. Davis says, I am a curse breaker in my family, woman of God. Absolutely. And, I've recently learned, I ain't going to go into all that. God said, don't go into all that. And I got to go. I'm going to try to still keep talking. And I got to literally go. I got to be somewhere in 5 minutes. Anyway, but it's right up the street. I will be obedient to God and answer the call. I will follow God. Amen. I know that's right. I wouldn't have it no other way. I told that God. I said, I told that God. I told that God. The other day, I wouldn't have it no other way. I don't want to do nothing but walk with you. Anyway, Kingdom people, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything significant, should I say. So Kingdom people, I love you all so very much. I really do appreciate you all being here with me. Yeah, y'all know I don't want to leave you, but I really do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold my Kingdom people down. Kingdom people, above all else, that the Holy Spirit leads you in all things at all times. For real. Kingdom people, we are still unmovable, we are still untouchable, we are still unbreakable, and we are still unstoppable. What? Kingdom people, that is my time. I love you all so very much. Jesus girl is